Hello library friends, and welcome to another edition of Paper Cuts. And this week, since we're getting close to a certain holiday, we're going to be making our very own paper spider webs. And you can make them out of any kind of paper you want. You can make them out of colorful paper, you can make them black, you can make them white. You just have to start with a square. Now, we have been doing origami, and when you do origami, you do not need to cut anything. That's the whole point of origami. It's all one piece of paper. For this, gonna need some scissors, because we are gonna be cutting. Now, I have measured out my square as we did in a previous video, so I already have my first fold. So I'm gonna fold my square into a giant triangle. And then I'm gonna take that triangle and fold it into another triangle. I am going to be pretty careful about lining everything up, but that's not super important. And then I'm going to fold that triangle into another triangle. And working with construction paper is very stiff. It's a little bit difficult. I don't recommend it. Now I'm going to cut off the end. Make sure you've got the open ends up here, so all your little pockets. It's closed on this side. It's closed on this side. That's how we want to hold it so everything works out correctly. And I'm just going to cut that off. Probably should cut that off a little straighter. So I'm left with a smaller triangle, or kind of like a pizza cut. And then I'm going to draw out my spider web on it. So first, you're going to make a line down the middle. You want your line to be not too thick, not too thin. See, it goes from the top to the bottom, and then you're going to do a little spider web shaping starting at the top. You want it to come to a point at the top. Kind of like that. If you can see, it's a little hard to see, and then I'm just going to go down and mark these off so I have a guide. You can freehand it if you feel comfortable doing that. I do not. It would go horribly wrong. But I am going to do this pretty quickly because it's not interesting to watch. Cutting it is not going to be super interesting to watch either. But here we go. We're going to start cutting out our spaces between the spider threads. So we will end up with a lovely spider web. And you want these to be pointy for best results. And you can make as many threads as you want. You can make as many spaces as you want. And I'm already not following the guides I cut for myself. But that is okay. Be careful not to cut completely through the middle, because if you do that, your spider web will not be a spider web anymore. The hardest part is this little cut at the bottom. I'm going to make it a little more difficult for myself, and I'm going to add another teeny tiny snippet at the bottom there, and we'll see how that works. Now I have to do the other side. I'm going to try to line everything up as best I can, but since I did not stick with my lines that I so carefully drew myself, I don't know how that will go. We'll just have to see. Now, depending on the paper you're using, it can actually be a little bit difficult to cut through, because when you stack a lot of paper on top of each other, it gets a little stiff. It can be hard to cut through, especially if you're trying not to cut through the middle of something. So if you have something like an X-Acto knife that you're comfortable using, you can do that. This works perfectly fine with some regular safety scissors, obviously. Now we're almost done. And I'm just going to add another little, oh no, I almost cut through, spot there at the bottom. And we will open up and see what we've got. See if I cut things correctly or incorrectly. There we go. You've got your very own little spider web. Now you can decorate your spider web with some fingerprint spiders if you want. You can get some little toy spiders and put it on. If you do a lot of them, you can make a little garland. But that is how you make a paper spider web. Alright guys, tune in next week. We'll have some more fun things for you to do. And if you make a spider web, post it in the comments. I'd love to see it.